Well, it's my first time here, so every day is just kind of like just taking it all in and exploring the city. Um, First time on the track as well, and I don't know, I'm just really excited for tomorrow.
So you one of those athletes who actually goes out and has a look around the city rather than just sit in a hotel and go to the track?
It depends on how much time I have there in the city that I'm in. But I have realized like sitting in the room does not help at all because I just sit and think, and it doesn't work out good for me. So yeah, I kind of like exploring
and it was very nice also to have my family in the stands and in that beautiful stadium in Munich, and so it's really nice, and also to come here and be able to run at home and come home with a medal.
And yeah, coming home to what we already heard will be a sellout tomorrow night. Always a great atmosphere for the Swiss athletes.
Yes, for sure. For me, it's the second time, but actually the first time last year was the first time I ever ran in front of a big stadium or a big crowd. So it's always special to come home and run in front of the crowd, who gets very loud if you're from Switzerland. So I'm really excited.
Pretty much, all thanks to God. The goal is to, get, just win the title at the World Champs, and, getting the world record as well was a great accomplishment, and I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Are you able, ask athletes this, there's points in your career where suddenly everything just, starts to click. Did you see it coming? Was there lots of signs for you, or did it just seem to happen?
Every year we train really hard. You really can tell what happens at every championship or every track meet. You just go with a mindset of, you have a positive mindset going into every competition, and whatever the outcome is, usually my coach will tell me it's your 100. So yeah. I was exhausted. I was this close to, saying I wasn't gonna compete, but coach was like, "It's okay, you got it." And I just went there. I showed up for the country, showed up for myself, and I got the job done, and that was it.
Of course, just being able to represent Puerto Rico is something amazing. There's not too many of us out there. There's not too many Afro-Latinos out there competing. And, I just seen like over the years, like we just starting to come up. Like in the 400s, you see the Dominican women out there. We also have a Puerto Rican lady, and also triple jump, like we're finally just out there. And I do think that, once I put that on, it's a pride thing. And if any Puerto Rican, it comes down to pride. Like that's all we're always representing. So, it's just going out there to do my best. And even if that day it isn't my best, I'm still putting a smile on other people's faces. And, I think that's all that matters. And I don't know, it's just something about it. Honestly, this year has just been tough. Like I've been dealing with a lot of things, and I'm not gonna go on social media and just tell everybody what's going on, and just, even before Worlds, like it was just a mental battle. Like I was really struggling with a lot, and I don't know how I walked away with a medal. I still say it. Like, I don't even know, because if you watch the race, like, I was in the block still. Everybody was gone. So I was, at the time, it was like, man, I worked so hard. I know exactly what I'm capable of. But I just knew everything that I was dealing with for the whole year. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And, it's just, why dwell on it? It's time to move forward, If I constantly dwelled on 2016 and what happened in the Olympics, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So I just see it as that. It's another medal added to my collection. I don't think that we should always be upset because things doesn't go a certain way. We need to be grateful for that. And it's also a learning lesson.
As an orderly, I always say this: you cannot be too dramatic going into a race. The goal is to, just step on the line, focus on myself, my lane, and, just execute, and pretty much the time will take care of itself.
Yeah, that's your answer, the nice answer. But what do you really think? You would obviously want to finish on a high here.
Most definitely. The goal is to, step on the track every time I get the win, but, things necessarily doesn't have to go as planned, every time we step on the track, considering the fact that we do hurdles. But, you can't be too cautious of, oh, I don't want to hit the hurdles, but then you have to be cautious of, okay, I want to win, it's just a lot of factors coming into play, when you get into the race, but you just have to try and stay calm and as relaxed as you can, and just do your thing and have fun, pretty much.
Definitely. You know, I used to train with Kenny, so when she did break the American record and the world record, that was already something right there where like a lot of us are like, all right, we need to get our stuff together. So it's just crazy. Like, honestly, you kind of like see things like this coming because times have gotten faster over the years. So it wasn't a surprise that a world record was broken, because I feel like all of us kind of knew like the potential's out there. But definitely I think you'll see a lot of more faster times with the women's hurdles. Because a lot of things have changed. Like, it's just like we're not just hurdlers, like we could sprint too. So it's just us putting that together to go out there to do that. I think that's actually like amazing. But definitely in the future, I do see some fast times being ran.
It's not as long as 2019 when I was in Europe for 3 months, but it's definitely been a long year, but I've enjoyed all of it. I don't feel like I've really gotten tired at the end of this year. Like, I still feel springy, ready to go. Practice today was just like if I was getting ready for world championships. Like, I'm ready to run something fast either way. So I'm very excited because last year was not like that at all. Yeah, it was definitely a huge moment. I remember there's two stories that are kind of significant to that time, and it's like, being at Tokyo, and I remember getting lane 3, and I was like, well, if Michael Johnson can break the world record and set the American record in lane 3, then gosh darn it, I can too. And that was hard. I don't know how he did that. And then I remember when I ran my first 1950 back in Lausanne, and I was like, shoot, I just ran my butt off trying to get to 1950. How the heck did Michael Johnson get all the way to 1930? And I was like, you know what? I can't even think about that right now. Baby steps. Right now, I'm just going to celebrate the 19.5.
Yeah, it was a crazy year for me. Hopefully tomorrow even better. After last year with no Olympics for me, it was hard, and I had a lot of motivation to do it better this year. And yeah, it was crazy to jump early this season, 8:45. It's what I didn't expect to jump so long. I knew I can jump around 8:30. Now I have a personal best over 8:40. So it's nice to have one event which I'm so strong and have the privilege to compete against the specialists. And yeah, hopefully I can show the Swiss crowd tomorrow what I can. No, for me it's clear I will be a decathlete for many years more because I have so much point lost in the throws and in the run. So when I get a little bit strong in the throws, I have 200, 300 points more without be faster in the 100 meter or jump further in the long jump. And I didn't work pretty hard in the long jump to jump this result. So hopefully when I train the same things like the last few years, I will jump from year to year further than 8:45.
Oh, no, I'm definitely planning on doubling. To be honest, the only reason I really focused on the 2 this year was because a wise old man came by to our track and told me that my start was trash. So we went and...
You naming any names?
Ralph Mann.
Okay, cool.
And we focused extremely on the start. And I went to my coach and I was like, let's focus on the start in a comfortable race. The 100 is still so many things that I'm working on that I'm getting better at, but it's not as natural to me as the 200 meters was. And I said, let's get better at my start in the 200 and just hone in on going, as fast as we can in that race. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And because when, back in 2019, we decided not to double because, one gold is stronger than any amount of silvers that you can have. And I still believe that to that day.
Do you have to change something?
No, training doesn't really change all that much. It's more how you dissect what you're doing. You know, when people say, "Oh, I'm working on my start," that's probably meaning that they're focusing specifically on a certain part. So, say you might have somebody who's very strong and ballistic, but they, will make very rapid steps. And too many rapid steps leads to you going nowhere. But on the opposite, too many long steps lead you to getting left behind. So you have to find the sweet area where both, power and stride length meet in the middle, and that creates speed. So I believe that anybody who's really working on a sport is always trying to find the balance between those two.
And thereabouts? Anyway, it was quick
I
enough.
was running the 100 last time.
All right, well, last time you ran 200, I think, here.
But it was 60-something, yeah.
Yeah. So you said at the beginning you promised us quick tomorrow.
Yes.
And so what do you think? Or what are you hoping for?
I'm hoping the crowd gets as excited as I'm thinking. Because I can perform any day. But I was recently telling somebody, if the crowd isn't into it, I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to want to run as fast as I know I can. So it's like, shoot, if the crowd doesn't receive it well, do you guys deserve a world record or anything close to it? Like, show me that y'all ready to get this.
What would you like them to do?
Moment.
So we need them all on their feet chanting,
No, what?
No, what?
Oh, I don't need you chanting my name.
All right.
I don't need you to cheer for your person. I cheer whoever you're here to cheer for. But I need the energy for the whole race. If you're not cheering for me, I want you to give the same energy as if, you were giving my mans here. Like, we're here to give you our best. And I promise you, if you give us your best, we'll give that right back to you. In everything that I do, I have a desire to be the best. In track and field, I have a desire to run fast, but I also have a desire to do something that nobody else has done. Of course, running the world record, everybody wants to do that, but I don't want to run the world record. I want to obliterate world records. I want to be able to be as good as I can in every event. And then after that, I want to make sure that the sport does well, that we are, seen, that we are, go out there and people are like, oh, that's, no Lyles, he's such and such, he's this fast, but he also does this and this and this. And when, athletes, go out to track meets, they're known not just in Europe, but around the world because we are world athletes, and I want to continue to be that person who's always going to push the boundary because the way that I think is not, on a level of let me get to the horizon. It's I want to see behind the horizon.
Of German, but we are sticking with English, so thank you. Malaika, I'll begin with you. This is we've been talking to athletes about it. It's always been a challenging there this year after things getting moved from last year. But for you, when you look back, it's not quite finished. But as you look back on 2022, hasn't quite given you everything you wanted. I know in Munich would have been lovely to have won the gold medal there, but it's been a good year.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good year. Especially in the out there season, it took some time to put the pieces together, and what we worked on in winter was on speed and acceleration, and it worked out, but was not perfect. So the outdoor season gave me time to match it and work with it. And in Eugene, I felt quite good. And well, yeah, sure. Then I got COVID, and it was a bit different than I hoped for, but still I feel like I'm in a good shape, like similar to 2019 in Doha, so I'm really happy with the year.
¿Qué
no,
crees que puedes hacer en términos de récords mundiales? ¿Qué es lo objetivo?
este año?
Sí. Bueno, en tu carrera.
Well, yeah, like going not just tomorrow. If you break a world record tomorrow, fantastic. But you're like what we were talking about. Could Toby Amerson was maybe under 12 seconds for 100 hurdles. For you, people say 16 meters. What do you think?
Sí, ¿qué crees que puedes hacer 16 metros? Como por ejemplo hablaban de Toby, que puede bajar de los 12 en las vallas.
Okay. Bueno, sí, ahorita estamos en un momento bastante importante del atletismo. Está Mondo, Noah, y muchos atletas que están dejando muy buenos registros y eso me motiva a mí a seguir trabajando. Es un año muy fructuoso para mí en competencias, en medallas, en récord del mundo y creo que es posible trabajando, es posible para mí alcanzar lo que deseo, que es los 16 metros, pero es cuestión de tiempo. Siento que estoy preparada, pero se trata de esperar el momento ideal para concretarlo.
Indeed, it's a very important time at the moment for athletics. We're seeing lots of athletes doing really good results. I believe that with time and with work, I can achieve what my goal is, which is to get that 60 meter mark. Y con la longitud, mejor que Malaika no lo quiero saber, pero ¿tú crees que vas a hacer un poquito más de longitud?
Wow. Bueno, yo amo el salto de longitud. Malaika es increíble. Es un placer para mí estar aquí al lado de ella y poder comentar un poco del salto. Tengo aspiraciones, tengo propósitos para el salto de longitud. Me gustaría ir a una gran competencia. Me gustaría ir a un gran campeonato y estar en una final del salto de longitud, poder competir con Malaika, poder competir con Ivana, poder competir con muchas atletas que están en el top. Y de verdad que yo soy una atleta muy ambiciosa, me gustan los retos y para mí el salto de longitud es un reto, es para mí un honor, un placer hacerlo. Y yo creo que el año que viene puede ser un año muy importante para poder hacer un poco de salto de longitud.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here next to Malaika. I really aspire to do more of the long jump in the future. My goal is to be able to take part in a final at a major championships and to be able to compete next to Malaika, to Ivana. The long jump for me, it's a challenge, and I like challenges. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do that maybe next year. La competencia, ¿qué es lo que piensas antes de saltar?
Bueno, pienso mucho, la verdad. O a veces pienso mucho, a veces trato de no pensar y solo enfocarme en la técnica, en la carrera, en el salto, en el público, en mi entrenador y sobre todo en hacerlo bien. Nosotros los atletas solemos tener un poder de convencimiento bastante alto, un poder de fuerza mental importante y creo que todo eso se refleja en la pista al momento de estar en la pista, en la carrilera. Trato de auparme a mí misma mentalmente con aplausos, buscando el público, buscando la energía, la vibra. Eso me genera bastante energía y creo que es eso, pues tratar de buscar el enfoque, tratar de auparme con las palabras, de auparme con los gestos y pensar en hacer un buen salto.
Well, a lot. She's thinking about a lot.
Yeah, she's thinking about a lot, and other times she's trying not to think too much, overthinking. So you can control sleep. So I try to concentrate on my technique, on my coach, on the public, on the actually steps, on the jumps. So as athletes, we really have that mental strength that we can dedicate to ourselves and to think about what we're going to do. So what she tries to do is to get that energy from the crowd, try to replicate what she's going to do on the track. So take all that energy and trying that mental strength that she has to focus on the right words to say to herself so that she can always do the best that she can.
Hablo mucho. O sea, tengo una rutina bastante larga al momento de estar en la pista, al momento de saltar, al momento de verme enfocada, lista para dar el salto. Digo muchas palabras. Vamos. Es ahora el momento. Es el momento. Es el salto. No sé, digo muchas cosas, pero sobre todo trato de enfocar toda esa energía, toda esa fuerza, esa adrenalina en ese preciso momento. Trato de buscar algunos factores, algunos argumentos que me permitan sentirme más fuerte, sentirme más enérgica y a través de eso busco al público, busco los aplausos, busco el amor, esa sensación de vitalidad que me produce el público para yo salir con fuerza y poder dar el salto que necesito. Creo que es más que todo eso. Busco mi interior también, mi paz interior, mi fuerza interior y es lo que trato de enfocar a los que me ven, al público, a las atletas, a las que tengo a mi lado y sobre todo a todos los que me ven en las cámaras fuera.
So my routine is quite long, and again, I do talk a lot, so I try to visualize what I'm going to be ready to do. So I say things to myself like, let's go, the time is now. So I try to direct that energy, that strength, that adrenaline for that precise moment. She tries to concentrate on the things that make her feel much stronger. And one of those things is actually the crowd, not just the ones who are watching her on the stadium, but also the ones that she knows are watching at home, but also the family, all the people that support her.
Better going into this race than I did last year, because obviously I felt a bit tired after my great race in Tokyo. So I'll probably have to thank Jake for that. So I have something I want, and I'm still very hungry to get a good race and to finish the season off in a good way.
Was it true? I heard, I don't know, we were all busy in Eugene, you know, the athletes have and then on the media side we hear things, and that your initial reaction after that was kind of, oh, I'm going home and I'm going to prepare for the rest of the season. Of course, you came back out and won the 5,000, but was that rubbish? Did we hear, or was that your initial reaction?
Yeah, that's that's rubbish, yeah. But the thing is that when an athlete work as hard as we do for everything that we do, losing is tough either way, either if you admit it or not. So you're not necessarily motivated to go back onto the stage, but we of course want to try again and hopefully perform better the second time.
Yeah, 6th title, and since 2010 I didn't lose at the European field, so I'm proud to be the best European athlete in a discus throw and represent the Europe around the world. And also it was very special for me, first time when I was doing that in Berlin 2018, when I was take my 5th title, and with that title become the first person who ever managed to win the 5 goals in a row, and also on a German soil. And now we are back in Munich, and my biggest opponent are from Germany, and she was leading, Kristin Pudenz was leading till the 5th round, and then I take that gold, and the crowd was amazing, and I was really enjoying it, because Germany is one of the countries when you are, if you are not from that German teams, they always will support you and give you power, and they did it that day, and I was so thankful for them, and I was really enjoying and celebrating with them my 6th goal.
Well, it's pretty hard to combine the 4 and the 4 hurdles because with my rhythm it's completely different, and it was really a big challenge because of that. And maybe at Europeans it looked like it was easy because I ran a great time, but it's really hard to switch during the season for me. So indoors, when I do indoors, of course I run 400 flat, but I love the hurdles and I love to see how Sydney's breaking new barriers. Now we can go faster than we ever thought we could go. So to be honest, I love my hurdles, and you will see me at the hurdles, I think, almost every year, the most part of the year.
1500.
There you go. You see, you're a smart guy. Smart guy. But is it an easy? Are you able to switch between the two? You're in a championships. How difficult is that?
It's fairly easy because my main training is endurance. So of course, racing the 5K is more relaxed because I can just focus on running and saving energy towards the last couple of laps. But the 1500 is more complex, and it's just a lot different. And for me, it sticks out as an event that's exciting for me to participate in. But again, for me, it's equally good competition in both because of the world level rising. But for me, I like to participate in more things if I can. But I will always, for now at least, focus on the 1500 first, and then if I'm able to do something more, I will try to do that.
Riga, have you kind of looked that far ahead? Are those in your sights as well to take on more than one major competition next year?
In my head, I'm always 3, 4, 5, 6 years ahead. Not necessarily in training, but especially for records or at least championships. But the thing that I enjoy the most with the 1500 is that it's not that exhausting because it's only 3.5 minutes. And that's my biggest issue planning different races, because if there's a tough cross country, I'm definitely not going to compete in that because that's just awful. But if I see that there's a chance of me performing well, because of course I can do good in a 10K if there's a good course, I'll try to, or at least consider that. But mostly where I feel like I can perform 100%, and that's not in hilly races.
Did you have that sort of experience, or was it just somebody said, you're going to be a great discus thrower, or were you surrounded by that?
I think Croatia had a good sport culture because we was like 4 years ago second in football, which was like the biggest competition in sport actually. So I think we have a lot of stars like Janica Kostelić in skiing, and of course our Blanka Vlašić in athletics. I think she was the one who was leading us and leading me to these titles and everything, because when you see somebody from your country, your town, or your city that can achieve something like that, and how much hard she needs to do to accomplish that, and that is possible, that you start thinking like that. And of course talent is, I think, maybe 40%, because the talent shows there that you are better than everyone, but 60% of good results are only big work and commitment, and what are you everything capable to do to achieve the goals. So we were listening, Femke me was listening, Malaika, and she told she's playing a piano and all that things, and we was laughing because I know how much time I spend on trainings and thinking about the trainings, and of course in my age thinking about the recoveries and how I can prepare myself for the next practice. So I think it's very important in which country and which environment we are growing up, because if you are growing up in a healthy environment, I think your mind will be healthy, and you have no goals or no medals that you cannot achieve it. So I think, I know, I read your article once that you are training, the whole federation trains together, and that you give you motivated. So I think it's very important that also you have like that kind of team on your side. So I think in athletics, Blanka Vlašić will show us the way, and I just want to continue where she stops.
Even if you try.
Yeah. I mean, we try to, of course, but yeah, I mean, we're humans. We make mistakes sometimes, and I mean, I think that showed definitely last week for me in Brussels. And but I think it's you know, it's important. Failure is important, and I've learned a lot of things over my career from my major losses that I've had, and I think that's been some of the most important things for me to get to where I am today. So yeah, just try to take the right things from when you mess up. You know, realize where you messed up and try to learn from that. I think is the most important thing.
Exactly. I was just, my parents just wanted us to do a sport, any sports, no matter what. And then all the sisters started, and we all liked it, and we always had a lot of support. I don't think we needed to have someone who pushes us or something like that, just a lot of support. I think it's with almost all the athletes who are here. And I think this gives us a great environment. And also just the people in the clubs in Switzerland are really supportive, and a lot of coaches do that for free, and it's also their passion. And I think that helps a lot for all the younger athletes.
I mean, I think I'm a solid athlete.
Yeah,
like,
but you know what I mean?
I feel like, yeah, like
were you born to pole vault, as it were?
Yeah, I think, yeah, you can make the argument that I was definitely like born to pole vault, but I mean, most of the sports that I tried when I was younger, I was pretty good at. I feel like I picked up on things pretty quickly when it came to like all those ball sports, especially like, you know, playing baseball and soccer when I was younger. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say really, because I never really took anything as serious as I did pole vaulting, and then it's so hard for me to like picture a life without having a pole vault pit in my backyard, because that was just my life. You know, that's just how it was for me. That was just like the normal thing for me. So I don't know. It's too hard to tell. But I think I would have. I always really loved sports enough to where I would imagine I would be at least trying to do something. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I mean, yeah, last year I jumped really good here, jumping that 606, being able to, you know, take the meet record, and so I definitely hope to improve upon that. That would be nice, and it's I mean, it's a place where you can jump well and you can jump really high, and you know, especially the way we have it set up on the bin there with.
Why is that then? Why do you say that?
It's just it's a nice solid track, solid setup. I mean, the crowd is phenomenal. The energy in there, you can really feel it when you're running down the runway. That, you know, you can just kind of feel that roar. So
can I just?
Yeah, probably a little bit of a mixture of both of those things. But I would say I'm probably like in the middle of most people. I mean, I think when the time is. When I need to get focused, then I'll get very focused, and I think I kind of put on this like little tunnel vision where the only thing I'm focused on is my jump, and I think more of the engaging is usually after my jump, because I feel like before I'm usually like I'm a little bit too focused on what I'm trying to achieve in the jump to, you know, to worry about other things. But then after the jump, you know, if I make it, it's a good jump, then, you know, of course I'll mess around a little bit. We can have some fun.
I don't know. It's just a special stadium. Even the day before the Diamond League, it's already a bit of special energy, and also sometimes when I train here, it's just always special to go outside and just see that stadium, and even more when it's full and with a good competition like tomorrow. It's hard to say. It's just a special place. I always loved running here, no matter what, if it was a European Championship, Swiss Championships, or the Diamond League, and it's just every year a highlight to run here.
The 200.
No, I really want to focus on both. I like to both events, and sometimes the 100 is a bit better, sometimes the 200, and I like doing both of it. And usually it's also fine to do even the 100 and the 200 in the same competition. So I don't see a reason why I should focus just on one event.
I'm a competitor, so I like to compete, and so you know, I think probably my favorite competitions that I've had in my life are usually, you know, the ones that are really tight, nail biting, and I'm able to pull it off, because I think those are the ones that, you know, you dream about more, and that they're just a little bit more fun and a lot more thrilling. But you know, sometimes the way the meet sets up though is, you know, if you are able to win early, then you're able to pick your heights a little bit easier as far as like saving energy, and if you want to jump like a world record or something. But I mean, I've jumped high kind of in every which way at this point, whether it's a really good competition or somewhere I was by myself from early on. So, but I definitely like I like a nice little competition. That's always, I I think the city events are super cool. We had it in Lausanne just a few weeks back, and I think that it was a really fun competition. I think having the fans, up so close and personal, it just creates a different experience that you don't really get in the stadium. And I think that, not only for us athletes, but I think that the people there get a different appreciation, especially for pole vaulting, because when you're there, when you're up really close, I think you get more of a appreciation for how high we're going up in the air. So I think that it makes it just, even for the naked eye of somebody that doesn't watch sports, doesn't watch track, doesn't know anything about pole vaulting, if you walk by and you kind of just see this circus little act almost that we're doing in pole vaulting, I think that it can be appealing to all kind of more people that don't watch it already. So I think that the city events are great.
Yeah, definitely. I really like indoors. I really like the 60 meters. It's different to the 100 and 200. And I also prefer to do competition, so we train a little bit less in winter. It's more fun than to train all winter. So yeah, we'll definitely do the indoor season the next month.
So.
Yeah, it has been an incredible season, and I know you say the Diamond League final is a big event. It is, but I must say, female sprinting so far, the 100 meters have definitely been big. Doesn't matter, where the event is. You just know the ladies are gonna show up, and I think for female sprinting, that's definitely a plus. That you stand at the line, and you have to be ready for the competition, and the energy is high, the expectation is good, and I think the crowd definitely deserves that.
It's long enough, an hour. So I think an hour and 20 minutes, and I think that recovery is good enough for me. So I want to challenge myself, and I think here is the best place to do it.
I'm definitely looking forward or chasing a personal best. So that's what drives me, to be honest. And having the competition is a plus. Having the ladies there in the line that that, okay, you have to be ready and it's going to be good and it's going to be exciting. Then for me, it helps me to, get to the line and to focus on the technique and get the job done quickly. Yeah, definitely. I would like to say that every time I step in a race so far this season, for example, Sharika has consistently been either PB or 10-7, 10-7, 10-7. And then, you just know that, okay, with that high level competition, at any given time when you get to the line, you can expect something good because these ladies are going to challenge you and they're going to come. Whether or not you think you're at the top or you're at the bottom or you're in the middle, every race is a different race and you have to be ready for that race.
Definitely. Before I started the season, I wrote that exact time.
Really?
On a piece of paper.
Have you got the lottery numbers for this weekend by any chance?
That I left on my trophy stand, and I never took a picture in my phone because I wanted to, every time I step in my house or I go to training, and I said, okay, then I have that target. I want to meet that target, And I think this, when I wrote that, I went back to training every day and I work even harder. Some days you might have a bad day, but don't let a bad day get you down. And I think I had expected the time right after the Jamaica trials. I said, okay, it's coming. And I wanted it so bad. And I continued to work. Right after the trials, I went back to training and I achieved that. And I'm so happy. I went back home though and I wrote a different goal. So
I was just going to ask you that. What have you written down there?
Definitely. I wrote another time there because I definitely want to go faster. And I think I'm capable of doing that. If it's not done tomorrow, then definitely I'll come back next year, work even harder.
How are we with that?
For now, I don't think so. But if I go back to training and coach and I discuss you're going back to the 400, I'll definitely be up for that task. I don't think I've achieved my 400 goals as yet. So therefore, I think I still have unfinished business with the 400.
You see things that you thought a couple of years ago would be impossible. Like I never thought a woman would run 50 points over the hurdles. That's crazy. But to see it be done, it's just remarkable. And to see, persons break their world record every time they compete or 3 times in a year, those things you hear of athletes peaking for a specific competition like the championship and achieving that target once, but being able to do it outside of a championship and inside the championship is just something by itself, and it definitely gives you that inspiration to want to chase those goals as well, because as athletes, for a lot of us, you know, we would love to have a world record beside our name because that's like the ultimate, and to see it be done is just remarkable, and to see athletes continue to push that barrier of what is possible. I think we're in for a long ride, a beautiful ride, an exciting ride when it comes to sprinting and just athletics on a whole. And I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that, you know, era. I guess when I didn't run in Lausanne and Brussels was going to be my final race for the season because I had commitment with my son starting school back home, and it was going to be his first day. So Zurich was actually not going to happen because of that. But I was ready to go home, and it was maybe divine intervention where I got an email from his school that they were postponing that day. So it actually happened last night virtually. So that's why I ended up being here and not running in Lausanne. I thought, you know, have to get in treatment and getting that run in Brussels. I definitely thought that, you know, I could definitely do this one and get it out the way. So I'm definitely looking forward to having a good execution and kind of putting the fact that, you know, standing at the line, you're worried about what's going to happen with your leg or not. So now that you feel like you're confident enough to know nothing will happen, you'll stand there and you'll definitely give a good account of yourself. I'm definitely looking forward to running fast and, you know, just executing and having a good run.
Event. I don't think there right now I have a favorite event. I love running all of them, and once I am fit enough, I'll run all of them.
Okay.